Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Mr. Lix, and we're definitely back again for another reaction on this here Brbptv. Be real, be positive television, brothers and sisters. Welcome to each and every one of you guys. Let us get into the vibrations right there. As you can see on the screen, guys. Well, apparently we have something that is taking place in the Atlantic Ocean. You know what it is, guys? A star was born. Well, not really a star, brothers and sisters, but this is apparently Bret. Bret is apparently increasing from 60% and going, as you can see right there, because this is the red, it's greater than 60%. And as you can see, as of 8 a.m., that's what it was like on Sunday. As of 8 p.m., brothers and sisters, as you can see right there, Sunday, June 28th, that was June 18th, yesterday. You can see Bret decided he want to bring company. It's not hurricane season yet, you know, but Bret want to show itself and bring company, man. From West Africa, they say bring Mama Africa to the Caribbean. Well, Bret bringing company, brothers and sisters. But as we focus on Bret, brothers and sisters, you would think that Bret is gonna, you know, topple over. No, it seems like based of this trajectory, Bret is gonna become a hurricane as of when it reaches Wednesday. So that's 2 days from now, brothers and sisters, according to this thing right there. So it's a depression. It's gonna become a storm, according to this. On Tuesday, 8 a.m., 8 p.m. storm. Then Wednesday, 8 p.m. is going to become a hurricane based of this thing right there. However, I'm seeing some interesting things from, I think this is from Guadeloupe, latest release out of the European model. So it seems like there are different models. A weak tropical storm Bret. Bret weakening on the bow due to dry air and shear. I know wind shears kind of prevent the hurricanes from developing, and therefore it is stated that it will be downgrading to a tropical depression between Thursday and Friday. So I guess it's going to become a hurricane and then downgrade as a result of the dry air and wind shear. That is what they say. It's never always accurate. So we have to be mindful of this right there. Anyways, February 22nd and 23rd, June 2023. That's what it says is going to happen. And to be noted, a traffic center between Martinique and St. Lucia. So I'm guessing it's going to be heading between Martinique and St. Lucia based on the projection. That is stated to be right there. But, what? Traffic centered between Martinique and St. Lucia and Northern Hemisphere circulating more on Dominica and Guadeloupe. It seems like that's the projection is going to be taken. And then, of course, you can read the rest of this thing, but we're going lower down to see what it's saying right there. This is what it looks like, the diagram. The green area is what they were focusing on, as you can see from what they were saying right there. In the green, winds about 34 knots, or that's equated to 63 kilometers per hour. So, you know, it's gonna be, you know, going pretty crazy right there, brothers and sisters. Anyways, as we move on, we see some other stuff right there, because I've been hearing a number of different pathways, brothers and sisters, but based on what we're seeing as a result of 11 a.m., the tropical depression number 3. Interesting. The National Hurricane Center expects it to pass over the Lesser Antilles as a Category 1 on Friday. Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, we stay vigilant. Right there. I see, guess the holy known, man. It seems like it's going to be developing. Some people say it's not going to be developing. It's going to be weakening. This one is saying it's going to be at a hurricane. So I guess we'll see what goes on. Mother Nature doesn't bend to what we see it will. Anyways, brothers and sisters, so the report came out from Sir Dennis Byron. As you can see right there, it's addressed to the President of the United Workers' Party, Mr. Lennox Linton. And of course, it's this right there. I agree to you respectfully. I am pleased to inform you that I have completed phase 2. They are completed phase 1 now, but anyways, completed phase 2 of the review of the elections legislation systems and processing in the Commonwealth of Dominica. That this completes my assignment on the improvement of the electoral process in Dominica, and they have some things done. The submission package be present, so I'm guessing that's what they presented to the Prime Minister, the draft House of Assembly election. So these are some of the stuff, and the resubmission of phase 1 report which was presented, and this is it right there. He's then saying, I thank you for the time and the interest that you contribute to my daily deliberation. But wait, the guys, don't they have to send that to the people first now? Don't the people have to review this and say, you know, yes, we need to do something, or we agree with this, or we disagree with this? Don't they have to put this to the people? No, yes, no, maybe. One of the things I heard the Prime Minister saying when he was asked the question is, in I think it was the June 1st press release, you know what he was saying? He said, no, we don't want to give them voter ID cards. We want to give them national ID cards. He doesn't know anything about voter ID cards, national ID cards. Nonsense. We need voter ID cards. And that needs to be there. What the Prime Minister said doesn't matter. It's what the people want or what the people will decide on the basis of what should go for them, not them. Not him. He's not the king of Dominica. I don't understand this kind of craziness there. It's on the basis of the people, and the people seem to want voter ID cards. How then the Prime Minister can say, oh, no, he doesn't want voter ID cards, it's national ID cards? Nonsense. We need to bring the voter ID cards to the nature of the Caribbean. Everywhere else has it. Why Dominica have to be having a problem about it? Stop your dirty ways, man. Anyways, brothers and sisters, I saw this thing right there. Government of Dominica, Office of the Prime Minister, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit receives final report from, how it has final report? So it do go to us now? Anyways, there's a video of Cabral. We'll play that in a moment. The following review of the electoral system, blah, 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 students, and Prime Minister, pleased to inform the general public he has received the final report. But like I said, did it go to the people? Because apparently we saw the one that went to thing, and he's talking about the draft. That was June 12th. That was a few days ago. And this one was when? Does it even have a date on it? June 16th. So between June 12th and June 16th, we got the final report. Really? What kind of craziness is this? The final report was received on Monday, June 12th. Final report of the draft. Because we seen a draft there. This was the draft. You see the draft. But wait a while, I confuse it. So from the 12th, or maybe I'm confused about this, guys. Help me out there. The final report was received June 12th and consists of the following phase 1 report, which indicated a draft regulation. So it has to go to the people. It cannot be the final report. Okay, so it's not necessarily the final thing, it's the final report. But shouldn't it go the draft? I'm kind of confused about that. Probably the wording has me messed up. The final report supposed to be after the draft has been completed. Not true. Or maybe it's saying that he's giving his final verdict. This is what I'm presenting to you. You guys will then go and deliberate what you have to say and then continue in that way. I don't know, maybe. The government of Dominica will also organize a series of public consultation, okay, in mid-July to receive feedback. One of the things that people can definitely present, guys, is that we need voter ID cards. 1, 2, if the people from overseas have to come and vote, they need to have their own constituency, whether it be digitally, so they can all vote instead of coming to Dominica and screwing up what the people they want to do. All you go overseas, all you live in all your lives overseas. Why on earth would you want to come and screw up or get paid to come and screw up the people's actual choices? So I think one of the ways that can actually curb that issue here is for individuals to actually be able to vote. It doesn't matter if you stay outside Dominica for a long time, or you can have regulations on that if you want to. But if all the people from overseas were voting in one constituency, they will get a say in that constituency, not in the whole of Dominica. So I think that would solve a lot of the problems. What are your thoughts, guys? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below. Anyways, guys, this is Cabral Douglas, and this is what he had to say right there on the issue. Let me make sure the volume and everything is up.
Greetings to all my beautiful Dominican and family and friends. Cabral Douglas from Sydney, Australia, attorney at law. Just wanted to provide my feedback as it relates to the report that has finally, after 3 long years, been delivered, not to the people of Dominica, incidentally, but to the...
Interesting. I guess it has to go for the people first, to the officials, and then they bring it to the people.
But to the Prime Minister of Dominica. Now, my concerns, as most people know, has always been about the process rather than the content of what the report may or may not say. The entire process from the outset has been fraught with questions of transparency or lack thereof, accountability or lack thereof, illegitimacy, and dare I say, criminality. I personally have good evidentiary basis to believe that the crime of bribery was committed by Mr. Byron in Dominica.
Oh, well, I don't think it is him, but he knows why he's saying this. I think bribery and cheating is most likely associated to the governing bodies of Dominica. Don't you agree? Because they were dishing out monies all over the place and checks and all these kind of things. I think that is part of bribery. Hey, I give you money, come and vote for me. Not so? All right then.
On 7 March 2015.
By the way, guys, I think they also need to include into this thing. They need to say that the two or three, whichever bodies that are trying to vie for elections for them to become prime minister, I think there needs to be debate amongst them. The United States is doing that. Dominica used to have it, but apparently Dominica stopped having that. They stopped having it. Really?
When the Caribbean Court of Justice was inaugurated at the State House in Dominica, the alleged bribery involved none other than Mr. Byron and Grenadian lawyer Dr. Francis Alexis, who delivered the keynote address and was subsequently appointed to the Regional and Judicial Legal Services Commission to oversee Byron's court under false pretenses in a letter addressed to Alexis from Byron dated 5th November 2015.
The person that recording that there, you could at least try, well, I was not to not breathe, but at least make your breathing softer now. But anyways.
These allegations are not merely speculative in nature, but rather have been reported to the relevant commissioners of police in Dominica, Trinidad, Grenada, and more recently, St. Lucia, following Mr. Byron's relocation to that country, and is currently the subject matter of legal proceedings in the High Court of Grenada. At the time, the material time, Roosevelt Skerritt used a supermajority of 18-3 in Parliament to become the first OECS country to join the Byron-led court. Subsequently, not long after Mr. Byron's mandatory retirement, as prescribed by the agreement giving rise to the CCJ, Mr. Byron was appointed by Skerritt as the sole electoral commissioner for Dominica.
But I think everybody accepted it, From my understanding, didn't everybody just accept, that he's going to be doing the report? Didn't everybody accept that? Or people were at odds? Because I didn't hear anybody at odds with it. But I think he's challenging the legality of Dennis Byron doing the report. But on the basis of him doing the report, it seems like people were just waiting to see, what's next, what's going to happen next, on thing. When the report comes out, if the people are going to be reviewing it and give their 2 cents, so to speak. But from even on the understanding of this whole thing, I think Skerritt wants to have a monopoly on this. Because I remember, like I said before, when they asked him about the voter ID cards, he says he doesn't know anything about voter ID cards. He's talking about national ID cards. No, we need voter ID cards. Because anybody can use national ID cards and they say, no, but you have specific individuals that will have to go according to the rule of law. Whether they say you have to be, come Dominica for 90 days or 120 days within 5 years, you have to check that mark. And if you are able to prove that, then you get your voter ID card for you to come and vote. No, you don't not just coming from states and then come down Dominica and then after you vote, go back up. You don't even get into breathing Dominica, but that's what, no, man. There needs to be something better than that.
This type of arrangement in international politics is known as a quid pro quo, which translates to mean you scratch my back, I scratch yours. As such, I have reason to believe that Roosevelt Skerritt and Mr. Byron entered into a criminal conspiracy, not only to defraud Dominicans, but to steal yet another election and subsequently paved the way for a one-party dictatorship in Dominica.
Well, we know that's what this Skerritt has always been trying to do. He has always been trying to get it, and he's like, God gave him a gift. Remember the last election that happened there after 2019 election? Then you had the 2022 election. Remember, he come and say, oh, God gave him a gift. Well, apparently he didn't win all 21 seats, so I don't know which God that gave him gift, but it wasn't the Lord Jesus.
Who paid Byron? Was it Dominican taxpayers? Did it come out of Roosevelt's personal bank account? Was it Dominica passport mercenaries abroad who control billions in passport revenue that never made their way into the consolidated fund? Was anybody?
By the way, for those of you who don't understand, when money is made for Dominica, it needs to come into the consolidated fund. It's rather interesting that they are keeping monies outside of Dominica. And mark you guys, it was Lennox who made this aware. A lot of people did not know this, but Lennox made this become aware, and they're going to deny it until I believe Anthony came out and say, yes, there's monies outside, they're being used for Dominica and all those kind of things there, you know. But on the basis of this money is supposed to be put in the consolidated fund, that's the first mistake. And I think what is happening as a result of money is being put overseas, you never know what kind of money is being made, one. Two, you don't know how the money is being spent, two. Because we heard that a partner built a 28-story building in Dubai. That's the individual I'm guessing that he's talking about right there. 28-story for the CBI funds and things. That making sense to you? Money is supposed to come into Dominica, and then the money from Dominica will then dish out and say, okay, this is how the money is being spent. So therefore you have accountability. But when that's not happening and money is outside there and doing whatever, you know how much money these people making? Oh, boy, I tell you, but that's something else. Anyways.
Other than Mr. Byron, considered for the appointment? Does the Constitution of Dominica make any provision for the appointment of a sole electoral reform commissioner by the Prime Minister, by the President, or by any public figure? And indeed, if it did, were the provisions of the Public Procurement Act adhered to? For example, according to Section 15 of the Act, except where otherwise specifically provided, for procuring entities shall conduct public procurement for goods, works, services, and quote-unquote consulting services and disposal of public property in accordance with this act and regulations.
That's what I was just saying there, you know, guys. I was just saying that there.
In addition, according to Section 18.1, a procuring entity, in order to evaluate bids, quotations, and proposals, must set up an ad hoc bid evaluation committee consisting of at least 3 persons who, except in the case of a statutory corporation, shall be public officers selected on the basis of their relevant procurement, technical, financial, or legal expertise. Was an ad hoc bid evaluation committee set up with regards to the granting of the contract to Mr. Byron? If so, who was on such a committee?
That's a good question. This is one of the reasons why I'm asking, did everybody, Scary just give somebody and did they accept it? They just accepted him, or did they have no issue, or people were really desperate, or people are really desperate to just get the electoral reform? Because we need it in Dominica. Scary said the other day there, the people who met in Bayfront, in Rosewood the other day there, didn't have much people, so he's looking to put this at the background of Dominica. Since 2019, you say you can give people, and furthermore, it's not he that have to say he going to give, because the people need it, and it's the people that need to demand it, and if the people not demanding, what do you expect to happen now?
Were tenders invited? Was the process open to competitive bidding as required under Section 31.1? Or was Byron simply appointed
That's scary.
at the discretion of the Prime Minister by the Prime Minister?
Yeah, I thought.
According to Mr. Byron in his report, and I quote, "For several years, the issue of electoral reform has been highly controversial and has dominated public discourse in the Commonwealth of Dominica. Since about 2009, the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica, under the leadership of Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, has been considering methods of addressing this controversial issue. The government has invited election observers to observe the electoral process of its general elections.
And as a result of how the laws are set up, they couldn't go against it. This is why the laws them need to be changed. And this is what Skerrit them is using to make sure that they maintain power because of the old laws that are there and they can manipulate. But these things need to be, detailed properly to be defined. And they don't want this, obviously. That's how they maintain. The thing is not by free and fairness. No, brothers and sisters, because they're bringing people overseas. One of the things that he mentioned was the election observers coming to Dominica. But it's rather interesting that the election observers did not notice the amount of planes that were coming into Dominica. But I guess they have to go based off the laws. But who is paying for that? Then can you trace it back to him now? Because I heard that during some times, nobody knew who was who. You know, they just come and said, okay, put this, and then they tally the amount of people are coming, and then the government, well, who knows who paying for what? You see? So, boy, anyways.
From 2009 to 2019, various election observers participating in in 3 general elections held during this period submitted reports with suggestions for improving the electoral process in the Commonwealth of Dominica. However, it does not appear that the recommendations from various reports and consultations were implemented prior to the last general election.
It hasn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dominicans, this is the first lie Mr. Byron has submitted in his report. When was the last election in Dominica? The last time I checked, Byron was appointed in December 2019, and the last election in Dominica was December 2022, with Mr. Byron firmly in place as the sole Electoral Reform Commissioner.
That's true.
Okay? Now,
but how is it a lie though? Because election observers have been observing for the past 3 elections for real. And the things that they say would be good recommendations were not taken on. So how is that a lie? Maybe I misunderstood what he was saying.
According to Byron, under the heading in his report, Structure of the Report, and I quote, general elections were unexpectedly called before this process was completed.
That's true.
But yet, Mr. Byron still, I'm quoting him now, decided to continue with my engagement. Now, Dominicans.
But what else could he do? Stop it? When he was paid a certain amount of money for him to do it? I mean, I don't understand. He's paid a certain amount of money for him to do it, even though they call elections, scared them. Well, I guess they took them to court. Maybe they took them, I don't know. But on the basis of that, I mean, what could Byron do? Byron could say, well, you guys call elections, I'm going to stop. And then the amount of money that they give him, he had to send it back. And I understand the petition that he's saying, you know, is Byron legally responsible for doing this? Who was the ones who advised and commissioned? Was it a group form? Was it like a meeting, a group form in which, you know, was it like a group? You guys understand what I'm saying? Was it a group effort, you know? Was it a group effort, you know, to then choose Dennis Byron? I understand that part, but on the basis of quarterly elections, I mean, what could he have done? What could he have had? What could he have done? I don't get it, but okay.
Why would Byron take a decision to continue his quote-unquote engagement at a time when he knew or ought to have known that his employer, Roosevelt Skerritt, was in the process of stealing yet another election?
I don't think that is the case, though. I think you might be mistaken right there, because on the basis of them sending the letter to the opposition talking about the draft and stuff that they want to be doing, Skerritt then concocted a story stating that they never received the phase 1 stuff. They never received the stuff. And took a whole month before they even responded to Dennis Byron. So this is not a Dennis Byron issue. I get your issue when you say, was he the one where they consulted to put him in charge? I understand that, but on the basis of what you're saying there, what could Dennis do? Is not his country. It's not his country, so. But anyways.
Even Byron's successor at the CCJ, the Honorable Adrian Saunders, emphasized in his deliberation in paragraph 108 that there remains grave areas of concern about how the process of these elections were conducted, and he concludes
that was in 2019. That was for the 2019 elections. There were grave concerns, yes, true. But then they call in other elections in 2022. So I don't think it's Dennis Byron you have to blame. I think it's the very Skerritt partner you have to blame for that. And the people for allowing it to happen. Sometimes we always look to the government officials, but not realizing it's the people that are allowing the government to do those things. It's the people.
That future elections in Dominica ought not proceed with these or similar taints.
That's
Unquote.
That's correct. And Dennis, from my understanding, this is what he was doing, regardless of the scary them calling elections again. Within 5 years, not necessarily at 5 years time, but within the 5 years period, he called elections again. Dennis Byron could then say, you know what, guys, you do all your thing, I stop, I take the money and I go. What I don't understand. What could he have done?
But the election of Dominica, the election of December 2022, did proceed under Byron's watch with these and similar taints. Yet there is no mention of this anywhere in the report. There is no mention of the opposition party boycotting the election anywhere in the report.
Well, I get your point. I get your point there.
There is no mention of 70% of eligible voters
Not
boycotting the election.
That's true.
Anywhere in the report.
But wouldn't that be in the phase 2 report though? Because the phase 1 draft was sent out before the elections of 2022 came out, you know. Because Lennox them had it a whole month before scared them to write a letter and saying, hey, we did not see that. And I said that most likely that's what they would do. I said that. They would pretend like they didn't see it. I said that.
And the reason why there is no mention of any of this in the report is because Byron is part of a criminal conspiracy with his paymaster, Roosevelt Skerritt.
I don't know about that part. I don't know about that part. Like I said before, I understand your legitimacy in saying if Skerritt is the only one that selected Dennis Byron, then something is wrong there. But at the end of the day, it's still up to the people to then say, hey guys, that's the person we want, or no, we don't want this person, and the opposition them to say the same thing. But it seems like everybody accepted Dennis Byron to do the report. That's all I can draw from this. Maybe you guys have another report in that, or another thought process.
To defraud the people of Dominica and assist in the facilitation of ushering in a one-party state in Dominica under the dictatorship of Roosevelt Skerritt, who has been sitting illegitimately as the Prime Minister of Dominica.
I agree on that part too. He's been sitting illegitimately. He's been sitting there. He shouldn't be Prime Minister. But then again, it's the laws, you know. The laws have to. But they know OAS admitted their things. CCG admitted their things. So why is election still continue? But I don't think they can have another elections. If they have another election without electoral reform, most likely what they're going to try to do is to kill time, to bring it all the way across. That's what my thought process is. I don't think that is going to take place, but my thought process is like they're going to try to kill time as much as possible to try to go into another elections. But the elections is too far from now. Elections is what, till 2028 or 2027, you know that, right? If not 2024, because that's what the opposition want to do. And I think they need to have elections in 2024 too. But we need voter ID cards there. People out there, make sure we get voter ID cards, because we don't want no national identification card. Burn that. We have enough of them already. We have our Dominica bank, or what do you call that? We have our license and all those kind of things there. Passport and all those kind of things there. Dominica, you understand me? No, we need voter ID cards to come and vote. Not national ID cards. What national ID cards for now? No, you need your voter ID card to come and vote.
Since December 2022, I therefore advise opposition forces to consult with their lawyers, not only in Dominica, but further afield, and to file the appropriate criminal and or administrative actions in the courts to put a stop to the electoral fraud which has taken place, and to decline any further engagement which could only act to legitimize what is clearly, in fact and in law, a criminal conspiracy bordering on treason to defraud the people of Dominica.
Well, I understand what he's saying. I understand in a sense what he's saying there. But like I said before, if the people accepted Dennis to be the one to think, Dennis couldn't do nothing even if they call elections. He couldn't do nothing. You already get $450,000 and then I think up to $650,000, boy. That is almost $1 million the man get to do electoral reform, to write thing on paper to give people. Anyways, guys, maybe it's just me. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on what you have to say right there? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below, guys. By the way, guys, don't forget to check out the latest reaction, not latest reaction, latest vlog that I actually did. Definitely check it out on the latest. That will be in the first comment in the comment box below, guys. On Mr. Leaks Vlogs channel, I dropped another vlog. Check it out right there, guys. Anyways, so about Mr. Leaks on this here Brbptv reactions, guys. Be real, be positive. Tell all the wicked hard people them stop their dirty ways, brothers and sisters. And of course, I'll see you guys in the next reaction video. But don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and of course subscribe and turn on that post notifications so you can get more videos as they tend to come through. I'll see you guys in the next one. Boom bang.